warm welcome to our respected panel and all the attendees from across the globe. I welcome you all to the Acetech NetworX webinar series 2020. Acetech, being the largest networking platform in the country, is honored to bring together the expert industry leaders through our webinar series Acetech NetworX. It is a platform which has seen thoughts evoking from the top leaders in architectural, design, construction, and manufacturing space, and this has been the very core at the ET Acetech since its inception. Shishajam Flat Glass conducts Shishajam Group activities in the flat glass sector. It is a global player and market leader in Europe. It has proactively invested in latest technology, which has helped the company develop high-quality glass solutions. The company expanded operations in the overseas market, envisioning regional leadership with an aim to create a stronghold in developing and developed markets. SFG plans to continue its regional and international growth with its forthcoming investments in Turkey, the Balkans, Eastern Europe, Egypt, Russia, and India. Shishajam Flat Glass manufactures all kinds of glass, right from float glass, ultra clear glass, coated glass, decorative glass, safety and security glass, and all kinds of mirror. All this while adhering to EN standards too. Just like to play a short video, and thank you to Shishajam Flat Glass for supporting the topic today. We're going to play a short video and then would like to welcome the panel on board. Thank you. I'm sure the expert leaders need no introduction, but I would like to take this opportunity to introduce and thank every respected member personally and on behalf of the organizer of the show. We have with us architect Kunal Kuvadekar, director Naren Kuvadekar and Associates. Architect Kunal graduated from the Architectural Association London in 1997, followed by his Masters in Architecture in 2001 from the University of Westminster in London and completed Masters in Architecture. Architect Kunal was conferred architectural title of Architect Reba Part PT2, Royal Institute of British Architects. Naren Kuvadekar and Associates has received several honors and has countrywide designed and developed various unique, well-documented architectural building projects and installations with a cumulative area of 12 crore square feet plus. Mumbai's first integrated township, Lokhandwala Complex and Lokhandwala Township, the Taj Lands End, MIT, Ecole Mondiale, World School, Jet Airways Training Building, Joggers Park, and many Radisson, Taj, Sarovar, Fern hotels are some of the firms well known by the group. We welcome you on board, Architect Kunal. Thank you for your presence. Architect Nitin Kilawala, Director, G7 Architects and Planners. Architect Nitin Kilawala is an architect and interior designer practicing in Bombay for over 4 decades. He is involved with many NGOs and resident groups for implementation and integrated public transport for the city of Mumbai. He strongly believes that the benefits of good design should percolate down to the masses. He is a recipient of various national level awards, including the IIA as well as the IIID for excellence in architecture and interior design, respectively. Nitin sir, we welcome you on board. Thank you so much for this. Architect Rajan Goregaonkar, partner GD Design. It was founded in 1999 as Goregaonkar Architects, a partnership firm of Rajan and Sachin Goregaonkar. Rajan graduated from Sir J.J. College of Architecture in 1990. Their portfolio includes residential and commercial buildings and township projects, as well as interiors of luxury homes and offices in and around Mumbai. Associated with some of the city's most prominent builders and industrialists in the field of architecture and design, Architect Rajan brings together the design expertise of both architecture and interior design in projects successfully. Architect Rajan, we welcome you on board, sir.
Thank you.
Architect Manish Dikshit, founding partner, Om Architects. With belief in conceptualizing design with efficiency and responsiveness, his adaptive style of design has led him to be featured betwixt 100 top design luminaries by various magazines in India and abroad. He has also been acknowledged for his work in various national and international magazines like Home Trends, Polish SRWO, Movado Canada Homes, and so on. Understanding complexities of architecture and design has allowed him to work on large scale projects ranging from sprawling townships to urban scale master plans from Los Angeles to Gold Coast in Australia. Om Architects has completed innumerable projects for eminent clientele spanning across the world, leading them to be titled as a celebrated interior design and architecture firm globally. Architect Manish, we welcome you on board. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Architect Anuja Sawant, Principal Architect, SSA Architects. Architect Anuja Sawant is an alumni of Sir J.J. College of Architecture, Mumbai. She's an IGBC accredited professional, IGBC AP. Her key specialization is in residential high density and high rises. She has also worked on a number of specialty hospitals and also handling a large portfolio of various mixed use developments, institutional and commercial projects, and master planning, including an award winning overseas project. Architect Anuja, we welcome you on board. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Architect Esther Eidenogel, architect and architectural glass product manufacturer, SFG. Architect Esther graduated from TED Ankara College in 1990. She received the Bachelor of Architecture degree from Middle East Technical University, Faculty of Architecture 1994. After graduation, she worked for Orchid, Sahibaz Architectural Office, ZD Construction, Archipel Architectural Office. Her experience includes several projects from education, housing, tourism, and commercial design. Since 2006, she has been working for Sheshajam Flat Glass Company. She's working as a product manager for architectural glass. Thank you so much, respected panel members, for your presence here and guidance. Without further delay, I would like to hand over the mic to Architect Kunal Kuvadekar, sir, to begin the panel discussion. The mic is all yours, and thank you for shaping the panel discussion.
Thank you, Gaurav. That was a really nice introduction. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Fine. Great.
Great. Thank you.
So we've got a phenomenal panel over here, and we'll start up with our discussion. Rajan, he's introduced you so well, and Rajan, if you would start up with the presentation, and then we can have an interaction whilst you do the presentation.
Sure. So I'll just give me a minute. I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
Yeah. So we want to discuss today, talk about elements of villa design. Am I audible?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I can hear you very well. Thank you.
We were going to talk about elements of villa design, and we've done a number of villas, and in our experience, we've gone through a lot of ideas, and we've experimented with different kind of ideas and thoughts. So I thought like this could be a good platform to talk about something like this. Of course, before talking about what we have done in a few of our houses, I just wanted to actually take this opportunity to talk about on this platform, to talk about a very iconic villa designed by everybody is familiar with the great Le Corbusier, and I thought it would be a good platform to talk about this one house known as the Villa Savoie. So right. So I'm sure as architects, everybody must be familiar about the Villa Savoie, which is like one of the most iconic houses in the 20th century, which actually started the trend for modern architecture. So I'll just go touch briefly over on this villa, because there is so much to talk about it, and it won't be. I don't think I'll be able to give justice talking to it in a few minutes. But I'll just talk about the basic points out here so that everybody maybe can just appreciate the greatness about this house. So this house was designed in between 1920 and 1930 by Le Corbusier, and it was absolutely it was against convention. It was completely different, and it was something which nobody had ever kind of seen before. And to touch on a few points, one of the things in this villa was that you can see that the entire house is supported on stilts, and the reason being, I think Le Corbusier himself wanted the entire landscape to flow underneath this structure, and have a seamless look. In fact, if you look carefully, even the ground area, you can see where there is a car park. The walls are also colored green, and the idea was that this should merge with the landscape. And this house was built during the machine, when the motor car had just kind of become very popular. And in fact, this house was designed in such a way that the client would come with his car, park his car under the house, and then just go up straight to his house. Also, another interesting part about this house is you can see that the columns are all recessed behind. So Le Corbusier was very famous for these long, sleek windows. And you can see that he's captured this long sleek window because all the columns, they are not touching the surface, but they are actually offsetted behind. So here is another a couple of other images of the same house, where the interesting part about the other interesting part about this house was that it's actually got a ramp connecting the floors, which was a completely new concept. Even today, I think not many houses, accommodate a ramp. And it was done because it was done so that, you actually don't feel that you're traveling from one floor to the other floor, which you would feel when you are going up a staircase. You are actually, just walking from one space to the other. So the ramp gives you that feeling. And of course, he also, he was very, he wanted to use the terrace as a recreational space, which was actually something which was very new at that point. So these elements which he used in design, I think it has a lot to do with the human psychology and how a person perceives his house, and looking at all the factors about the motor car being a new invention, and using the terrace as a garden, and using a ramp to create seamless spaces, supporting the house on stilts. This was all, these concepts have actually now, very common today, and we all have evolved over time. But I think it's like a masterpiece, which was, at that point, something which was never seen before. So going ahead, after seeing this kind of work, I'm sure everybody and all architects were inspired to do great stuff. And we also have used some kind of ideas and thoughts in our houses, and I'd like to share them with you with some of our work. So now here I would like to talk about transition of spaces. And transition of spaces is actually a concept which is not new. Meaning, if you actually go down history and you'll always see a lot of old forts and Mughal architecture, or a lot of historical palaces which have courtyards and which have corridors, and which actually play the part of creating a transition from one space to the other. And I think that's done so that you can the entry and the destination to create some kind of a transition in between them. And we use this kind of an idea in one of our projects, and I'd like to show you how we've done that. So here there was a plot which is around an acre in size, and we had an FSI of only we were permitted an FSI of only around 4,000 square feet. So it was a small house, and it is actually on the edge of a mountain, so you can see the valley beyond. So instead of just constructing a bungalow, which was a villa, which was just actually you know taking 10% of the area and just locating it at the edge of the plot, we thought, why not we create the entire the journey from the entrance to the destination, and we create an experience while we do that, because we have so much space to do it. So here I've shown in the plan on the right hand side, if you can see, I've shown a transition 1, a transition 2, a transition 3. And this is basically the journey from the entrance to the destination, and how it kind of declutters your mind from you're staying in Mumbai, you're working every day, and when you go to your second home, you have so many thoughts in your head. And when you reach your house, how when you travel from your entry to your living room, and how that declutters your mind, how every transition space changes your perception. So that was the thought, and I can take you through the entire journey with a couple of slides. Just a minute. Right. So this is what you see actually when you enter the house, when you are driving into the land, and when you see the house, but you don't really see the magnificent view, which lies in store for you. So what you actually just see is a screen wall, and you experience a space where you have a beautiful landscaped entry, and you see a screen wall, but you don't see the view which you are going to see from the living room. So one is that this gives you a sense of mystery and curiosity, which is another very important element in design, which if you can create, it really brings out the anticipation of what is ahead. So here you are. From there, you move on, and you go into you walk down a corridor, and so what you actually entered from was actually a notional entry. It wasn't a real entry, just a notional entry. But you walk over a corridor where you experience another landscape, another kind of light and shadow experience. A different kind of biophilia all around you, and then after you walk and you actually enter the main door, you enter into another small courtyard where you have a space which is enclosed by walls, but a skylight from top, so you get natural light. So each space is actually a semi outdoor space, and it becomes more and more, it closes towards as you reach your living room, and it kind of prepares you for what is ahead. So this is what you see when you finally reach the living room. So instead of actually showing and making a house where you just open the door and you just go into the living room, we've created an experience, right from the entrance to your destination. So this is a kind of a bird's eye view where you can see where you get dropped off, and then there is a notional entry, and then you walk slowly over a corridor. You absorb the light and shadow and the greenery around you, and then you go into the main entrance, and then further courtyard, and then further into your living room. This is how it looks from the other side, where the view is. We've taken a sloping roof, and it basically you have a great view. So the entire house faces the view. Right.
I really like the Villa Savoy example that you used over here. Very influential building of the 1930s, and there's a lot of imitation. People have tried to emulate that building all over.
Yes.
Phenomenal project.
Right. I think it set the trend for modern architecture after that, and it was just path breaking, I think.
Absolutely. And it was the cusp of evolution at that time,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very, very nice. I really like your transitional spaces that you've done over here in the renders, segmented views that you come across.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We did that. And when we told it to the client also, he also, I mean, it's like when you tell a story about how, you go from the entrance to your living room and how much, the view when it's finally, it is framed from the living room, you can really appreciate it rather than, just going and walking straight into it. So I
Like
think it's
unwrapping a
not
gift,
about-
you go one after another, after open layer after
Yes.
layer and layer, and then you come out into a
Yeah,
place.
absolutely. So there's
Nice.
so much human psychology which we play with, in design. And it's not only just about creating spaces, but it's about how you play with those spaces.
Yeah, Anuja is going to do a whole talk about psychology of architecture and all that. So I'd really like to have her comments on your presentation.
Right. So I'll just go through, just another point about creating drama in a house, and I'll just quickly share one house which we've done. So this house it's a pretty small, it's a compact plot with a house which has not like the earlier one, large open green areas, but here it was a contoured plot. So we used the contour to our advantage by creating an infinity pool, which was the kind of it became the focal point of the house. And you can see in the section also that basically because the site was sloping, we took an infinity pool and we used the space under the pool to create a games room out there. So the entrance out here, you really can't tell from the entrance what lies in store ahead. And I think, like I was saying, using mystery and curiosity in design is very important, and how you use it. And here, when you come and you see the house from the front, you actually don't know what's in store for you. It's a pretty plain facade, and as you walk in, into the first lobby, and with the skylight on top, you can see in the background a water body, and the water touching the landscape behind. And this is what you see when you enter into the living room. So where you can actually see the water line merging with the landscape beyond, and creating this beautiful this beautiful picture moment you enter the house. And what we did was we made this entire place very like I was telling you, it was kind of focused around the swimming pool. And we, on one side, we've taken this large portal, creating this violation of the human scale. It's around 30 feet in height, and which envelopes the entire geometry of the house. So on the other side, where the portal envelopes a bedroom, which is cantilevered by about 15 feet over the swimming pool, and then the swimming pool goes underneath that. So it was more about creating drama, as well as also creating interactive spaces between outdoors and indoors. So we created this space under this bedroom, which was a semi-covered open space. So you can actually sit out there, in the afternoons, and you feel like you're in the outdoors, but at the same time, you're protected with the cover on top. So this is like a same space underneath where you can interact with people in the swimming pool, and that's like from the garden side. So more dramatic approach to the house, creating like play in geometry. Right. So in conclusion, I would like to say, like, I think every plot and every land is different, and every project, you can, as a designer, I'm sure we can when we design, it's important to understand psychology behind what the client wants, what you can give, and how you can make that house his a very good experience for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajan. Very nicely choreographed balance of architecture and interiors here. Very nice and picturesque project. Let's have a discussion. Anuja, any comments?
Oh, wow. I mean, he has given a lot of boosting for my topic. So amazing work, Rajan, and all the scale and the proportions are amazing. So I just felt like going there right now. I mean, we have been caught up into pandemic and all we are thriving to go. Really no question, but really mesmerizing and great design. As always, I must say.
Yeah.
I don't know. We try to do our best.
Yeah. It has come out very well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Rajan, one question. Where was the first project located?
The first project is located at Khandala at Mount Altera.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice,
so
nice.
it's around 1,200 square feet, 1,200 feet above sea level. So
Okay.
that's a very good height for Khandala. So
Yeah.
What is the reaction of the owners? I mean, I would rather like to have what they felt about it.
Well, like I told you, I think it's very important that you have a story behind every design, and when you have a story, it really connects with the person who's going to stay out there, and they understand your design in a much better way, and they can relate to what you have designed. So I think it goes for any design. If there is a story behind it, there is a concept, and when there is a concept, you can't go wrong. So it's not just anything you're doing, but you're just actually making a space where they can, interact, and it definitely works that way.
So that's your success.
Well, yeah. And psychology, I'd like to hear more from you, but we've learned along the way that how important it is to actually tell a story when you design a house, which is about human psychology, how you can use that in design. Right.
Nice. Any other questions for Rajan? And we can have a discussion later on.
Yeah,
or,
sure.
Should we
I
have?
would like to make an addition.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for this inspirational presentation, Rajan. The first example you have shown from Mr. Le Corbusier, the pioneer of modern architecture. I read an article in New Yorker that Mr. Corbusier was pioneer of his time, especially for this COVID times that we're spending. There's in the entrance of Villa Sauvé, there is a sink in order to wash your hands before entering the house.
Yes.
So
I mean, at that time we thought about that. Yeah.
This is what is something very important nowadays in our houses. So maybe this is a need.
Point about having a sink, so that in his articles also his thoughts is written about how everyone should actually clean themselves before walking into the house, and that's why he's provided one. So it's very symbolic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Manish, can we now have a look at your presentation as well? So
yeah, sure.
I can hand over the screen to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kunal. So the topic that I am going to be discussing, it's got more of talking and less of presentation, because it's about how your designs are influenced with geographical location of the project. So there is one more point in this which I wanted to add, but that is Anuja's topic that she's going to discuss, psychology, because I think it's not just geography of a project, a location of the project, but also many other things which influences a project, right from geography to history to climatology, which is also a part of geography. So one important situation we all face is when we, most of the architects here, they are from probably in Bombay. And when you have a project which goes beyond your city limits, that's where the whole idea of your base of architecture is, which we get influenced, we try to use it and we implement them. So understanding that is a very important criteria. Luckily for us, we had this opportunity to design projects which are far away from even forget about our city, but our country. So that has helped us to adapt and understand the climatic condition, right from micro to macro climatic condition. And here in India itself, it's a great experience for us with the diversity and the different zones that we have in India, right from the mountainous region to the sea-facing place like Bombay or Goa to the sands of Rajasthan. So one important element that I always like to talk about to the viewers is the Jharokas of Rajasthan, which was influenced with the climatic condition of that region, how it used to condense the air and come inside the house. So that's an important factor when we try to implement architecture as well as interior design. Luckily for us, we love to design interior spaces as well as much as architecture. So this has given us a good blend in what we like to achieve in most of our projects. So now I would like to share my screen. My slide is just a 5-slide presentation, which I'm going to explain about each project, about the diversity and the location of the project and how we could implement these geographical conditions in our projects and designs.
Fantastic. Looking forward.
So I hope my screen is seen now by everyone.
Yes.
All right. So this is one project which we designed in Dubai. It's in the final stage of construction. Pandemic delayed it right now. So the whole idea about this project is this is in a very upscale neighborhood of Dubai where you have all villas which are quite traditional in terms of Dubai standards with the an Islamic architectural influence in them. So one of the criteria that was given to us is we needed to use the color that is a gray and a sandstone finish on the walls, which we try to implement with blending it with the concept of the whole house, which was quite in the contemporary lines, managing the climatic condition of Dubai, which is very critical. So the use of glass, I know Esra will be very happy when I'm talking about glass right now, but then the use of glass in that right location with the northern light that we try to get inside the house ensures that we delete the use of too much of artificial air conditioning and artificial support of your climatic condition inside the house. So that also is equally important when we try to design most of the building. I think most of the architects here, you will also agree. And that is many times we tend to fail when it happens to be a project in a congested urban town like Bombay, because we don't have that flexibility when it comes to different direction of light that we can take inside our project. This is a second project which we designed in Moscow. So again, completely drastically different from the earlier one, from that hot Dubai climatic condition to the extreme cold that we need to tolerate and bear that concept. So here it was the other way around. We needed to use maximum light and maximum heat, which needs to be penetrated inside the house. And another key feature here are the balconies. So balconies also play a very important critical role because we need to understand the amount of dead weight that the snow creates in the balcony. So to ensure this snow does not cause that unnecessary structural damage to the building, we need to ensure that the balconies are sufficiently covered so that direct snowfall is minimal in these kind of scenario. Also, one key important factor is the roofing pattern and the shape of the roof. So to understand the amount of snow that a place like Russia and Moscow here gets throughout the year, we need to balance it out perfectly with the condition that you generally face. This is a project which is completed. I think next month is where the homeowners will start moving in. So this is in Bombay. So the key element about this building is this was Chola inspired architecture. Now, this is something we try to, I'm contradicting to what I said earlier about geographical location versus structure, what you need to create. So this is the best example about that. This is located in a place called Matunga in Bombay, which is next to all the South Indian Dravidian temples and the flower market around it. So it had a lot of character in that vicinity. So what we try to do is we try to, let it merge with the surrounding rather than being an eyesore or just a structure standing and, being an uncomfortable view for the end users who are passing by. So we got a lot of those. In fact, the good point was the next door structure was a temple by itself. So right from the colors of this building, we tried to blend it with that, and yet it has got its own statement when you look at that building. Unfortunately, being a tall structure in a small land parcel that you have today, it's not possible for an end user to see top to bottom the whole concept, what we created in the terrace level to the mid level to the ground level. So a maximum a person is able to see are the parking floors that you see in this image where the name Anvaya is mentioned. So this is again a very interesting project. Now this is in center of India. This is almost 150 kilometers from Jabalpur, almost the center of India, you may call it. So this belonged to a client of ours who is based in US, and he stays almost 9 months of the year in India. So he wanted his house in India to feel more like how he would be in the US. So adapting the landscape elements to this project so that the harsh summer months, which is very uncomfortable in this zone. So we created in advance, before we started doing the structural work, the first thing we did was we created pits around the whole project so that natural rainwater, which is minuscule, so even that was being absorbed in the soil, and it gave a local fauna around it. So this helped us to create all this greenery that you see here. Right now, it is even much more than what you see, what we try to create in our 3D renders. So the whole blending of the whole styling of the structure went with the whole concept of what the client wanted, because frankly, there was no specific geographical influence in this, but it also showed the climatic condition which we needed with the style what the client wanted. So these are, now I'm going into an interior part of project now. So this was a recently completed project. Now, why this is important to understand the geography of a project. We all will agree that most of the buildings and structures that are coming up today have got their own style. One of our projects also has something like that. So similar to that, this particular building is located in Thane in Bombay, and the structure is designed as a very English concept township. So instead of being a complete contrast to what an external part of the building is, we try to blend it with quite a bit of modern elements so that you have a good transition when a person moving out of his car and going up to his floor. So rather than completely being an offbeat design concept. So this is, in fact, this is one of the main features that you see as soon as you enter the house. So this is just around 10 feet away from the main door. So you have a glimpse of everything that you want to see. At the same time, it's partitioned well with a lot of curved and bent glasses that we have used in this. So you get an influence of what it is inside the house further you're going to expect and what it is outside the building. Yeah, so that's it. This is all my presentation about. So it is a quick one which I wanted to express in terms of geography, because I think Anuja, you have a larger topic to speak about.
Actually, very concise presentation, and very extreme as well, from Dubai to Moscow to, and use of glass. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
How you used to manage yourself in those climatic conditions? How you got acquainted with the climatic conditions other than the architecture?
I used to love, unfortunately or fortunately, this pandemic has stopped me from moving out of India. But I used to be out once a month, and this is uncomfortable initially, but I think now I'm enjoying staying back home.
Oh, great.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, the climatic condition used to be crazy every time I needed to go to all these places.
Yeah, but a lot of your design influences also change, when you're on site or at that particular location.
Exactly.
You get that whole feel, and you tend to tweak your designs also a little bit.
Yeah,
Whilst
true.
Yeah,
That's not happening now though, but yeah, we try as much as possible.
I love the use of glass, and use of glass. Then that leads us to Esra,
Yeah.
and after this whole pandemic, and people living inside their houses, or rather inside their boxes. Let's hope not glass boxes, but the boxes. Glass
Matchboxes.
has been playing at matchboxes. Yeah, back in Bombay, then matchboxes.
Yeah.
But should the panelists want to run a few questions by you, Manish, at this point, or should we let Esra have a go?
I think
Yes?
let Esra go. Let the lady go first. She's been waiting.
Yeah, Esra.
I'm running away from my questions.
Okay, thank you. So first,
we hand over to you.
Okay, let me share my screen first. Thank you very much. So you can see me now. Yes, as Rajan started with Mr. Le Corbusier, I would like to start with Mr. Alvarado. In 1933, the Finnish architect and designer Alvarado completed the Pioneer Sanatorium, a facility for the treatment of tuberculosis in Finland. The building is rigidly geometric with long walls of expansive windows wrapping its facade, light-colored rooms, and a wide-roof terrace with railings like the ones on cruise ships. The main purpose of the building was to function as a medical instrument. Tuberculosis was one of the early 20th century's most pressing health concerns. Each element of the pioneer was conceived to promote recovery from the disease. The color of the ceiling was chosen for quietness. The light sources were outside of the patient's field of vision. A broad daylight from the windows as well as the terraces was part of the treatment, as sun had been proved effective at killing tuberculosis bacteria. Actually, at the sanatorium, the architecture itself was part of the cure. The time during lockdown at home led us to rethink and change our priorities. The importance of good design became clear as our houses became a safe shelter during this crisis. Architects and other key players in the real estate industry now need to redefine the new normal and develop projects accordingly. After this experience, we can be sure that our lifestyles will not be the same. We must design our buildings taking into account possible future epidemics and develop epidemic prevention strategies. It's now a necessity to reduce urban densities and rediscuss and reorganize our public spaces. With COVID, we learned that in our houses, the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room need to be separable instead of flowing together, as during this stage, each family member started to attend different Zoom meetings at different times. The bedrooms need to be spaced apart for better acoustic buffering as workspaces, and of course include more square meters for our desks. And we need an exterior space, a balcony, a terrace where we can experience being outdoor. On the other hand, in the outside world, barriers are our new friends. Some of the workplaces are already reformatted in order to reopen. We started to give up working in open plan offices and start working in glass rooms or glass cubicles. Glass allows us to see each other, talk to each other when we have the proper design for it, but also it's a barrier. It provides us social distancing perfectly. There are too many benefits of glass. It is hygienic, easy to clean, eco-friendly, and long-lasting. Nowadays, we're getting used to see these solutions more often. For example, in a fancy restaurant, in schools, pharmacy, even at gym as a partition for social distancing. The possibilities are clearly endless, and so are the solutions. Glass is a miraculous solution while reshaping architecture. It is a material with extraordinary properties, transparent, and prevents entrance and infiltration of water into our living environment. You can look through it and establish a connection with the nature without being subjected to the outdoor climate or weather. It is phenomenally strong and even can be used as a structural component in buildings. Natural daylight plays an important role in the comfort, health, and mood of the human beings. Before COVID-19, we were spending 90% of our lives within buildings. After that, unfortunately, we're spending much more time in our offices or houses. Glass means feeling natural daylight in inner space with energy efficiency, safety, security, and noise control. Our quality of life strongly depends on daylight. As humans actually programmed to live outside, daylight plays a fundamental role in the body clock. Numerous research studies have demonstrated that glazing has profound implications in terms of human health, happiness, and productivity. For example, in healthcare, research findings demonstrate that access to daylight provides a reduction in the average length of hospital stay, quicker post-operative recovery, reduced requirements for pain relief, quicker recovery from depressive illness, and disinfected qualities. There's also a growing body of evidence that daylight plays a critically important role in the prevention and treatment of obesity, heart disease, and other illnesses exacerbated by stress. In educational buildings, access to daylight has been shown to result in a dramatic improvement in students' academic achievement, behavior, calmness, and focus. Daylight is a drug that stimulates the production of serotonin, dopamine, and gamma aminobutyric acids in the human body, enhancing muscle coordination, calmness, and focus. People are working longer hours and spending more time in front of screens instead of being outside and connecting with one another. It is easy to feel fatigued, uninspired, and less productive, especially in the workplace. In buildings of all types, including the residential sector, many of the studied benefits associated with daylight and connections to the outside world can be equally realized, thus contributing to sensations of well-being. Visual contact with nature prompts sensations of calm, invoke creativity, and improve our mental health. Glass integrates inner space with nature, in other words, connects inner and outer space. The human eye can distinguish about 10 million colors, and as Şişecam flat glass, we believe that even 1 in 10 million shouldn't be missed at all. Our group Şişecam, with 85 years of experience, operates in 4 different areas of glass. We have 42 plants in 14 countries with 22,000 employees. Şişecam Flat Glass is the largest flat glass producer in Europe and among the 5 largest glass companies in the world, according to the production capacity. We have 19 plants in 10 countries, from Egypt to Russia, from Italy to India, serving to construction, automotive, energy, and household appliance industries. Our strategy is to create value in the industry by using the most advanced technologies and innovations. This is our headquarters in Istanbul. We call it Heart of Glass. The project's design is the result of a collaboration between the world-famous architectural group SOM and Turkish firm Design Group. We have an experience center in our headquarters, which invites us to an impressive journey and exploration towards the nature of glass itself. We believe that every project has its own story, starts with a dream, touches lives, makes life easier. Different dreams, different perspectives, different needs, delicacy in detail, wisdom from the past, and vision from the future. All of them form an integrity, and each story comes to life. We are very grateful to all the architects who are creating stories of living spaces where people live happily, healthy, and safely. In order to help them to create new stories, we are offering glass consultancy. We handle the projects from design to the building's opening stage, recommend them not only the right glass products according to climate and function of the building, but also some tips for optimum budgeting. In Shishajan Flat Glass, we have solutions for all needs of the projects and unlimited creativity of architects for reshaping the architecture after COVID-19. So please do not hesitate to ask any questions either in Q&A or through our email account.
That was really nicely put together, Esra. And glass, I mean, phenomenal material. I really love working with glass, and especially now you need glass more and more because you're stuck in your matchboxes, and the border that holds you back is glass. But
yes, you're completely right.
Yeah, no, wonderful material. Love working with glass. And now they're integrating so many technologies into glass itself, the introduction of photovoltaics into the glass panels. Are you doing any of that?
Yes, of course. We are also having glass for photovoltaic sector, so it's a part of our business. We have some examples already in Turkey. You can check our reference projects from our website. We have a wonderful building in Bursa. It is for one of the energy companies. So they use photovoltaic on the facade, on the south and west facade as part of the design.
Nice.
But the other examples are usually they're using photovoltaic glass on the terraces. Also in our factory in Mersin, we did the same. We have a plant. The whole roof structure is covered with photovoltaic panels.
Nice, nice. I mean, it just changes the spatial dynamics of a place, using glass. And yeah, spatial dynamics and psychology and architecture is actually Anuja's topic. So I'm going to hand over the mic to Anuja, and then we can have a Q&A there. Thank you so much, Esra.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you, Esra. Okay.
Anuja, it's yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Kunal. I'll just first share my screen. Is it visible now? Is it visible?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and I'm audible, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So very powerful presentation, and each one of you has given me one thread from your presentation. What I'm going to express today is not really a work, but always for any architect, it's an experiential journey. And at every point and every moment, you are experiencing something as a designer. And that's how you start growing in your career. And suddenly the time comes, and especially the pandemic has really changed most of us, and we have started rethinking. So right now, even I am at the phase of rethinking a lot of things. I'm just trying to meditate that what all things can be done. And this is a time where then we can start implementing after we analyze that what exactly happening after this pandemic. It will have so many positive and negative impact. So I have chosen today, I have chosen my slides, which are just the reference to my thoughts. So they are more or less absolutely non-architectural. And I'm calling this presentation as an enlightened well-being and healing. It's a vast subject, and I think every one of us can talk about it volumes. It's very close to our heart as a designer as well as a normal human being. So just sharing what I feel about the topic. And it's just a teaser for all the designers and architects and how they can start thinking over this subject. So let me take you through. Okay, my screen is not moving. One second. Okay, so my first slide is how we have started expressing through our eyes. For past 6 months, I think all of us are behind the mask. Our smiles are there, but all they are hidden behind the mask. And we are speaking more through our eyes. We are expressing through our eyes, and everyone is looking at everyone's eyes and trying to analyze that what that person is trying to say. And that's where first thought came into my mind, that which is correlated with the human psychology, what is called as a concept of navaras, which is more used in drama or theater. For Isra, navaras is 9 emotions, which is expressed by the human being. And these are very strong emotions which are day in, day out part of our life. And these ups and downs of the life sets the tone of human behavior, or it sets the personality. And today I've chosen the eyes and the colors which is depicting each and every emotion, which is very strong point of our life. That decides our choices, our liking, and our selection of everything. Now, these elements or these human nature, how it has various kind of reaction in our urban life. Now, if we see that today's trend of urban lifestyle is with a lot of peer pressure, there is a lot of competition, there is a want for luxuries and constantly changing environment. And that's how I've just chosen this photograph, which says that how can I feel alone in a city of millions? But it so happens that we really feel sometimes lonely in this city of millions, and that's what people are experiencing today or few years back. And these changing environments are reflecting on the human life. Again, the large densities, high rises, nuclear families are becoming new trends, and which are confirming to disconnection of oneself from the simplistic life. That's what I feel. They were showing some sort of a deep impression on the human mind, on all the age group. We are seeing that a lot of them are seeking psychiatric treatment nowadays and facing various kinds of a problem. I have born and brought up in Girgaon, and I've been a true Girgaonkar. I have experienced this kind of a life. And it was a few places still in Girgaon has this kind of experiential journey. And this was real golden old days of our lives, where the houses were small, units were small, but they had a large space outside the houses. And how these spaces were acting, you could see that they were extended houses beyond, but they were providing a better social connect psychologically. And they were giving you a feel of togetherness. And it was just adequate shelter, and you have so much space outside where you can come together, you can share your views, you can share your ideas, you are sharing your grief, you are sharing your happiness, and everything is going to happen in this space. People were getting married. There were so many things where human connection was every time there. Slowly, what happened to human life? I mean, you can see the feel of living in this kind of surroundings. And so slowly, what happened to human life? We have started climbing up. Now, these ground structures are taken over by the car parking. So car parking is more enjoying the connect with the ground, and we are disconnected from the ground as we are going up and up. Are we isolated? So we are feeling a little disconnected, and our minds are struggling with a great amount of stress and anxieties and depression and loneliness. And these all feelings are coming into mind. I'm not saying that 100% of population is affected by that, but great amount of urban fabric is getting influenced by all this. And right now we spoke about the pandemic, and the pandemic was sudden shift from that lifestyle living, and we are confined into those lifestyle homes. And suddenly it was a shocker. I mean, I'm not saying that 100% people didn't enjoy staying in those houses, but most of the population suddenly found that you living 24/7 in that space, and same space is shared by working people, by school children, by the housewives, and there was a utter chaos. Few of them could find their comfort and they could work around it and try to work around the same situation. But most of us are having the turmoils. Most of us are facing various kinds of problems in our homes, which was once upon a time, Mahal ho sapno ka. It's a dream house for all of us, but it's a time to look at it in a different way. And everybody's struggling to find my own spot. I mean, this is what, when Rajan showed that villa, and I felt that, oh wow, I really need to go there. I'm missing in my house. I'm missing all those elements, because once you go out, coming back and enjoying that space, that's how you look at your home. You never thought about that you will be confined 24/7 into that space. So is it a time to look at, again, as a designer, into all these elements? Is it a time to connect back what we used to have in the past and rethink over our urban designs of our unit plans or the smaller units? I mean, if I have to just give a little different example, Rujuta Divekar is a dietitian and she's a health expert. And she is saying to everyone that eat those sun-dried grains and start eating ghee. Somewhere someone is trying to say that connect with your olden days. They were the golden days, and try to blend those into your lifestyle. So as a designer, is it me? I have to look at it from that perspective, where the urban life can be improvised and current challenges can be overcome. So I really feel that as a today's designer, all these experiences, even what we experience, it's a time to pen them down. Create a synopsis, even for the common people, even for all of us, needs to pen them down, write them down, and extract something out of it. Now, this is a time where we really got a time to think over all this, and thinking, sitting and meditating over what we have designed up till now. And that's why I don't have examples of the past, because there's no point in what I have designed or what I have done, but what I have to create in future. That's what is going to make a lot of difference for me. So now it's very important that how I am going to create those spaces where people are going to get their warmth. Nobody's struggling for their own spots and creating that kind of flexible units, and meditate and look at it from the holistic manner altogether to this entire experience, bridging those elements of the olden times and how we can integrate that into our new designs. See, for the real estate, my carpet areas, my carpet area efficiencies, my RERA, MOFA, my overall usability, my marketing strategies, nothing is going to change, because that is a derived formula. But what I'm adding as a very sensitive designer, and that's where we all really need to sit and think over it, where the past can come alive to us and we can integrate those into our design. See, it's not going to be 100% formula, because the challenges are immense. But if we can try to look at it, we can try to work on those synergies. We can definitely create an opportunity for people to come out of their psychological impact and bounce back with a lot of courage and vigor, because right now there is a lot of fear factor which people are facing. There's a lot of financial issues, and that's where if we can add something from a design perspective, from architectural perspective, and induce those fresh ideas, I think that will work in a better way for all of us. So creating a sustainable environment for generations and generations within should become a vital point for the architects and designers. That's what is very, very important for us. Just strong images where I really feel that that's what the connect of nature, and where you can really feel those recreating those spaces and creating those overwhelming experiences. And I'm just wrapping up very quickly because this particular subject is very vast, and that's why I've just tried to concise my thought and give it just a thought. It's a flame where everyone can start thinking about it. And I felt that Gautam Buddha achieved his enlightenment. That's where I thought of topic as an enlightenment. And he achieved his enlightenment below Bodhi Vriksha, and which was absolutely non-architectural. So to reach that healing and well-being of the people, it's very important for all of us to meditate. Definitely, we have to create, we can create architectural and non-architectural spaces, but creating that architectural spaces and people giving you feedback that, yes, it gave me that kind of experience. It helped me in healing. And that's where I think it's going to be a encouragement to do something new as a designer. And there's one more experience which I would like to share, is that in Indian classical music, when it's raining heavily, performing Niyamallar is very easy. You can give that kind of experience. But when you are performing Niyamallar and when it starts raining, that's a divine connect, and that's the enlightenment. I think this is going to be process for all of us. This is going to be challenge for all of us, that as a designer, how we can create one simple corner in that entire complex, and which that person or the human being feels that, yes, I could come out of my anxiety, or I could come out of my stress when I go into that corner. I think that's what I'm looking at it, and that's how I'm trying to mold myself as a designer, and that's what the journey ahead I feel. That's I'm just leaving my entire thought that this is the rediscovery of architecture itself. So I can enlighten a little bit myself and leave it to all of you as a teaser. And that's it from my side. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Kanika. Very nice.
Thank you.
So Anuja, since there's some time thing in the middle, I was just thinking about you describing Girgaon, and how people connect, because small rooms and a common passage outside. But today I was today now we design big residential complexes and all that, where you have multiple towers, and then we design these huge clubhouses and gardens and all that. And as opposed to when you have a building like Manish was saying in Matunga, where it is redeveloped under 33/7, and you have a single building with tenants and new residents coming in. Now, both those complexes, now there is so much of a difference, and I actually think that because I stay in a house which is a bungalow, but if you go and in the complexes where we have designed, you have such big gardens and amenity spaces where people come down, and you meet a lot of people. And similarly, when you're staying in Girgaon, how the social connect is there. That connect is over there, in these big complexes. But when you have these standalone buildings now, it's a big problem, because you have all the tenants staying out there, but there is no common amenity space, so there is no recreational area. So even sometimes in South Bombay and all these areas where there is no space to create complexes, so you have all these individual buildings which are hugely priced, but at what cost? Because you don't find that social connect in that building. You don't really have people with whom you can go down and stand in the garden. But that same thing happens in Kandivali, or you go to a distant suburb like Dombivli, where huge complexes are made, and in the evening people interact, come down in the gardens, and there's such a the lifestyle is so much more better. So it's ironical, that you pay so much money for a South Bombay apartment, but you are missing out on the social connect.
Absolutely.
fact,
And Rajan, there's one more aspect to it. I mean, which I had less time to touch base. We are doing slum redevelopment also. I mean, if you look at the slums,
Yes.
they were more connected with the ground and suddenly they are pushed into the high rises. I mean, at the same time, though you have lifestyle homes and you have a connect, uh, still that connect needs to be surveyed or they need to be interviewed, that is it really not having or having a positive psychological impact, and that survey is not done. I mean, many students are doing, and believe me, I was in a 5th year jury of college, and what I found that most of the students are opting out for center for autism, center for dyslexia, old age homes, and then some place for the depression. I mean, if these are the topics which are coming up through the younger generation of the society, it's very much concerning that is it not time to look at the residential development, what we are doing, that itself is adequate healing, and I would rather reduce 50 such rehab centers coming up into society. So that's where these are the elements could be imbibed or induced into our residential design and not disturbing any of the efficiencies, because that is day in, day out. I mean, I've been working in the residential high rises and high density. But when you look at the density, when you have South Bombay building, the density is less and they have so many other 4 clubs for the recreation. But when you look at these kind of affordable housing or the mass housing, there this needs to be looked into, that density, how you control and how you are entertaining that density in the right way where this healing happens. And it's not a 100% portion of the formula on which we can work. It's going to be a process that every time that design comes, how I can add that 1 or 2% of my bit where I could work towards it. That's it. That's what I'm just trying to it on this platform.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
I think Anuja, you have set the right preamble for my talk.
Great. I'm so happy.
Absolutely. I like to seamlessly come on to you can.
Can I?
Is it okay if I let Nitinji take the screen? Gaurav?
Okay, can I start with my presentation, Kunal? Yeah, okay. So,
Sure, sir, please.
Yeah, okay. So, we are talking of design of purpose. So, please bear with me. My slides are going to be slightly anticlimax. And I think we need to talk about, 95% of the persons who are really not getting any benefits of the design. So whatever, our practice and our education, or whatever you may call it in your fraternity, it's focused to very small percentage of population. Now look at this slide. When you showed Anuja about that Buddha, meditation, all that. So this is the, perception of how even yoga can be sort of popularized, which is something it's really in shambles, and these are all at prime locations. So what is really happening in our city, especially in Bombay, is that all the projects which are in public domain or public spaces, they are all promoted by politicians, and they are all prime sites. So this is on Western Express Highway. We have few asanas of yoga, and actually you feel so sad about this. Even whatever little sculptures are there, it's doing like a coffin like thing, which is also not maintained and stuff like that. Next, please, Gaurav. Few years back, we have seen the onslaught of skywalks. Now, in the pretext of giving a good design or good urban plan to separate out pedestrians with vehicular traffic, but what they've done is they actually ruined some of the very beautiful, streets or even arterial roads of Bombay. Next, please. So this is one of those skywalks in Vile Parle, which was under construction, and now Next, please. This is what it is. What you see, same skywalk today, where even the government, those in authorities, they said that we are not going to cut any trees. We are going to just trim the trees, as if they'll not make you die, but they'll cut your limbs or they'll cut your leg or something like that. And the tragedy is this is shut now. Out of 70 skywalks, 50 skywalks are shut. And there is no accountability. Now just look at, when we talk of design, these are the spaces, these are the huge projects which are in government domain, where we are not even created any dent. And that is, I think, something which is very, very important. I think you also mentioned about some of the subjects which students choose these days, but that is what they've been saying this. So how do we, as a fraternity, impose upon the government? Like in Delhi, there was a Delhi Art Commission. So there's some kind of a control. So why can't we have urban development ministry, urban development department, which is very, very strong department to any chief minister. Why can't we have urban design department? Where we can actually throw these ideas, and there is no dearth of talent in Bombay. We can do that. Next, please. Now, when we talk of design for purpose, it has also got something to do with the mindset. We have T2 terminus, which is, I think, world class. Everyone appreciates it. It is. But just 200 meters away, we have a metro station called Airport Station. Even the name of the station also is Airport because it's so close. So why can't, that mindset is there to promote a good design? And many times, good design really doesn't cost much. But there's a perception, especially amongst politicians, that if you spend money, if you have some very exotic specifications, you create a good design, which is utterly, it's not true at all. And this is what, end of the day, we get. It's said that, airports are seen. When a visitor comes to airport, they see the airport and then they can visualize what is the economics of that country or that city. But when you visit a station, it actually gives you the pulse of the people. And that's where we are missing out. So whether it is metro station, whether it is skywalk, whether it is footpath, this kind of very, very basic, which I think we need to give importance to. Next, please. Coming back to metros, we have to fight for something which is not relevant, which is something, actually we are fighting for common sense. Look at this RA episode. We fought for 5 years to preserve a forest, preserve greenery. And here we have beautiful trees which are over 100 years old. This is on SV Road, already a Choco Block Road on in Khar area with beautiful rain trees. And then they are going to propose this kind of metro projects. So what sort of design we are inculcating, which is very, very important. Even if a person is illiterate, person is very poor, person has no access to means, but it is our responsibility that we have to have some very basic minimum standards. We just cannot keep our eyes shut. And just imagine what we serve as a design fraternity, architects and interior designers and graphic designers, is less than 5% of the population. If we have great demand from this 95% of the population of that kind of project, we'll not get enough of good architects or contractors or even material suppliers. So this is something we have fantastic scope actually and opportunity, which I think we should grab it. Next. Now, these are some grim pictures, but what is also done is in bits and pieces, we are seeing some good work. This is done by architects called Studio Pomegranate. This is at Parel. It's a very simple, underbelly of the flyover, and they've done some good work. So at least some attempt is made. Now, I believe that any project, even a Sulabh Sauchalaya, if you design properly, then people would like to maintain it. So that is also very, very important, that how you design the project, how you give the details, and easy to maintain. So these are some good works which is also happening in our own city. Next. This is near Stephen's Church. It was sort of marginal space between two properties, and it was a slopey site, almost I think 50 to 60 feet in height, as you can see in this section on the left, and about 40 feet wide. But Alan Abraham of this Abraham John Architects, they done a phenomenal job. This doesn't cost any money. It's just how you think of the space, and this is, I feel, is the design which is required. We don't have to have large philosophy or large projects always to show something great. That would happen in any case for some of the projects, but this is something which you are comfortable with, which even our citizens can relate to. Next. Few years back, when I was president of IID, we had got opportunity to involve ourselves in just small design, intervention of a pedestrian subway. This is at Metro Theatre Junction, Dubitala. You can see in that plan, it has got about 9 to 10 entry exit points. So what we did was we just used simple materials. The construction was already having RCC vault, and in their proposal, there was post-ventilated ducts which will be covered with typical, false ceiling and those 2x2 fittings, etc. So we said it's not required. In fact, we've saved a lot of money, and I think it is still worked very well. And it's considered that amongst all the subways in Bombay, this is still one of the better ones. So you also feel good that something is working well if you design it properly. Next. Similarly, we have got huge parks all across the city, and some of them again in prime locations with very good, land sizes, maybe 2 acres, 3 acres. And fortunately, many of these parks, they still have large trees. They are not really bulldozed. So this is one such park which was in shambles in Juhu, where we just intervened with a cycling track. That was just a thought. Okay, why can't we have a cycling track? And it was very nice to hear when these young mothers, when they say, okay, my kid learns cycling on this cycling track. And these are the kind of opportunities which we can implement with very little intervention in whatever public spaces we have. Or these 3 large discs using basic colors for senior citizens pavilion with a little, contoured lawn. So again, there is not much of cost impact, but something which gives a good design. And if it is done properly, it is always maintained. So these are just very basic thoughts on how we can penetrate the purpose of good design in public spaces. These are very, very small examples I have given in a short time, but there's a huge scope. So, Kunal, we can go forward discussion or any.
Yeah. No,
Thank you.
sensitivity of design, public spaces, sensibility and sustainability and sensitivity, most important.
Yes. Anuja, you gave also
So,
example of one
now,
Indian classical music, that last slide. So I always say that in Indian classical, you have to have the right sa. You start with sa. If a sa is proper, then everything follows. Entire raga is in place.
correct.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No,
Whenever you start for the classical, your first sur is very important.
Yes.
To be very strong and perfect. If that is set, then you can very well.
So that the Pushpanasi Park is a very nicely designed park, especially that whole cycle path, which leads up and leads down. It's one of the nicer places to visit. It's
Yeah.
put together very nice piece of architecture there. Especially it's very sensitive to the public space there.
Yes.
Now we're all on the panel. All of us have done presentations, and everyone's was so unique. Just like design, everything is unique to each site or each context. So phenomenal presentation. Now, Gaurav, I believe, has got a whole bunch of questions that have been coming on and off to us on the screen. So, if you would like to share some of those with us, maybe we can respond to those here.
Good evening. Absolutely enriching. I would start with, we've got respected Jaisim Rao sir with us as one of the viewers. And there was a little chat happening between, Mr. Manish Dixit and Architect Rao. So he has basically said, I'll throw it open with this, that the pandemic has basically helped us think, and especially for the architects, this is the time where actually a lot of thinking and a thought process should happen. So if we can hear your views on that from the respected panelists and a lot of other questions which follow, then I'll take that up.
Can I respond?
Yeah.
Well, to me, very frankly, pandemic is some kind of, something which we never expected, and we are forced to live with that. So when many times people say that, okay, this pandemic has happened, let's turn it into opportunity and we'll get a lot of time to think and all that. That is, I think, more of, you are self-satisfying yourself. It's not really true. It's a real serious issue, especially in a place like Bombay, when 75 lakhs people doesn't have a house. So this kind of pandemic is some kind of a natural curse on humanity. So, well, we always, as a designer, for us, there is no time slot. We design 24/7 and round the clock, maybe in our dreams. That is what we are supposed to, in a way. So, this is okay. I mean, there is a pandemic, how to come out of it. So, let us not, personally, I feel, let us not romanticize this. Okay, now look, there's a pandemic, we are in the house, we are locked up, what do we do? We'll think this and we'll think that. Nothing really happens, according to me.
But one thing is there, being locked up during this pandemic in the house made me reevaluate. And that's the first thing that I do once I come out of this is I'm going to make a lot of changes.
So we'll start. This is for Architect Rajan, I think, where when he was showing the presentation, it was a spectacular view. What was the software which was used to make the design? If we can start with that.
Software is a 3D representation software, so it's 3D Max.
Yeah.
This is for Mr. Manish Dixit. For this villa near Jabalpur, have you used double walls with gap to reduce heat absorb, or any changes in selection of material?
Yeah, I have already answered to that question, but I would like to, if you want me to repeat that. So towards the east-facing wall, we did have double wall, and towards the west-facing wall, we had a veranda in most of the places and with a lot of landscape. So it prevented the heat loss and heat gain inside the project. And also in terms of material that was asked, what kind of material did we use in the cladding? We used local stone over there, which did not have any name as such, but it was being used extensively in the local construction around there. So we tried to research a lot about that particular type of stone. How does it react to the heat and heat gain and heat loss in that process? So that's what we used in the final cladding of the structure as well.
Thank you. This is for Architect Anuja, is our consultant. We found her design presentations deeply connected with design philosophy, marketing requirement, business plan, approvability, etc. She never forgets to design the feeling experience of human figures being shown in drawing. So that is something that has come up here. If you want to comment on that, or you want to take it as a
nice compliment, actually.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Thank you so much.
So this is something where we would definitely like to hear the view from the respective panel. The more we are moving forward, time is actually taking us backwards. So anything on this?
Yeah, can I answer that?
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
think this is almost the third time I'm talking about the same topic lately. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to see this online series called Utopia. So if you have not, probably you should see it. It's something to do with a conspiracy theory. So I will start up with one single topic. Why do we have all these serious illness today, right from your cancer to all those things? A lot of people will say that yes, we did have it at one time, but probably we did not have the system to diagnose that. But then, if you look at it, it's because of all the corrupt things that we are eating and drinking today. So in the end, it's all a horrible circle. So the way we are moving forward, if we are not going to move in the right direction, we are going to see more such pandemics, unfortunately, I feel. So right from the technology that we are using, I think like Nitin sir, you explained clearly that this pandemic is something that is going to probably happen more. We will have to do a full stop, which I doubt we all are. I mean, I know a lot of them. Even Kunal, you did mention that once this thing is over, I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. We could not hear because I'm saying blah, blah, because we could not hear what you tried to say. But I'm sure it's about, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to take care of my family, I'm going to spend more time, all those things. Unfortunately, when it is going to open up, we are going to run in that same rat race. We should stop, we should try to think. And I think even for our future, I mean, I'm feeling it disheartening to see the kids in my house, how they are sitting at home and just playing video games. They have forgotten what is it to play outside. And that's what, Anuja, your presentation expressing those old community living in Gurgaon, I think that's an eye-opener because that is what we all are missing today. We like it to be flamboyant when we call one floor, one flat apartment, which is a very proud thing to do. But I think we are ruining ourselves by doing that.
Yeah, I just remember one thing that I mean, it's like nowadays it is advertised like California almonds are going to make you intelligent. But I remember all our mothers used to have that wooden ruler and that used to make us intelligent. I mean, nothing else was needed. There was
that and this.
So that's why going back and there was no depression. We know that we have to only perform and our mothers are good enough. Nowadays mother has to think about child psychology and things like that. So definitely a few elements of our past life has made us what we are today, and that needs to come for today's generation and generation. So that's where revival is very important. That's how I look at it.
I just think in a nutshell that this pandemic has told us to slow down a bit. We are really racing ahead, in everything we do, in architecture, in design. We don't stop to think. We just we get a project and how to consume maximum FSI and do the best design, and that's it, and move on to the next project. I mean, I think everybody should. This time has because of this, we've all realized that we should slow down a bit, think a little bit more, rather than rushing into things. And when everybody slows down, we'll all be able to do justice to good design.
There's been a lot of there's a dynamic thought change, that has happened after this whole pandemic. I mean, I've been dealing with certain developers and also with the marketing and the sales of how they're going to, generate revenue for their projects. But what is very encouraging is that people now want bigger spaces. They want open spaces. They want a lot of light coming in. The overall volume of space that a person wants to consume has also increased. And a lot of them, knowingly, unknowingly, through this whole thing, have started talking about sustainability more and more, which is very positive overall, I feel, and very encouraging for us. See, our architecture has always been limited by the technology of its time. So what we could do a few years ago, and as technology has evolved and we are integrating that as architects, we are doing much, much more and more. But that doesn't mean we do it at the compromise of the environment. And now we're coming around full circle. The question, we're trying to build in sustainability, like even with Esra's, when you're talking about her glass, she's putting photovoltaics in there that goes around generating energy. And the biggest thing that was consumed the entire pandemic, I think, was energy. All of us on Zoom, all of us on mobile phones. That's the one largest thing that we consume,
Yeah.
I think density is a very important factor, like Anuja was saying, you know, which has to be carefully addressed. But then it's not actually. I mean, as architects, you know, you are already provided with the density. You have to then come up with a solution that how you can have 5,000 families in a 15 lakh square feet, and how to make them make their entire space a livable space. But if this problem was addressed in the beginning only, why allow so much density in a project? Make the density less. And
yeah, Rajan, I feel, sorry,
Okay, go ahead. It's okay.
people are going to decide now about the density. They think that where I want to live, how I want to live, and that may change the market scenario, and that may give us a different kind of a design brief, because we will rethink about the density.
absolutely, you might be right.
Of the density. So that's how the things are going to change. People are going to think differently, and that's where I said that we have to really sit back and think over it, that how we can deal with it. But as Nitin said, there is no time. We have to rush back, and we are all rushing. And even Manish said rightly, as soon as the pandemic is over, we are all going to throw away our masks. We're going to rush back to our lives. You know, it's like after bomb blast, you keep searching for a few days that there is a bomb below my within my. After a few days, you forget bomb hai ya kya hai. You don't remember that, and that's the Mumbai spirit, what they called as. But then we all start flowing into that flow. That's what we are, and that's how we live.
Yeah.
I just wanted to answer what Rajan said about density. That's for the precise reason. Who decides about this density? Who decides about our DC rules and all that?
Exactly.
That's few bureaucrats only. That's why urban design authority, not urban development, that could happen with the government lands and all that. So, like in Bombay, we got at least half a dozen planning authorities.
Yes.
What sort of representation we have in that? Nil, because they don't want us. And these authorities, they change their views so, drastically, totally opposite from one government to another government.
Yes.
So I think it's high time we should stop this, no? Because we have learned bitter lesson. Someone promoted monorail. That project is shut, scrapped rather. Skybox, no more Skybox. After spending 700 crores, no more Skybox. Similarly, now we are talking of metros and bullet trains and coastal road and all that. We don't know all these stations. Each station is 1 lakh square feet. Each station is costing something like 450 to 500 crores. Who are the architects also? The faceless designs. So at least that much responsibility we or government owes to us, That, and they are all prime locations, and these are the projects which are designed for at least 100 years. So this is, I think, very important. Maybe together with COA, with whatever, with Pieta, maybe.
We do have a lot of questions, but this one is a particular one where I think architect Esra has mentioned she would like to answer live, which is, it's to all the panelists, but she said, please give your reasons why glass should be used extensively. I feel glass will be the new product for the coming decade or more. Your views on the same?
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for this question also. Why we use glass in architecture? We don't use the glass for one specific goal, especially in architecture. There can be a deeper sense or meaning. For example, we may use it for its reflective property. Glass offers a uniform appearance for buildings. While connecting two different spaces to each other, it can also be used in order to make visual integrity, harmony. Also, it can be used to create deepness in the building. There is a fourth dimension in buildings that we experience with light during the times of the day and changing according to seasons, locations, and climate. That is very interesting, a dimension which makes the building user feel very different. That's the time dimension. It is possible to feel different experience inside the glass structure when time and light comes together. Glass not only integrates inner space with nature, but also reflects nature. It replicates inner side and outside views, as well as strengthens the relationship with the outdoor. Also, it may act as an acoustic material. Glass partitioning inside the buildings provides a valuable way of reducing noise in the workplace while maintaining access to daylight and views. Thanks to the coating technology in glass, glass maintains thermal comfort in our living environment while giving chance to minimize our carbon dioxide emissions and helping us to live in a better world. Also, we mentioned glass is producing its own energy thanks to the photovoltaic panels. So many reasons to choose glass as a material in architecture. We are not asking for extensive use of glass in architecture. Instead, as Shishajan flat glass, we believe that in every project, there is a light glass solution. Instead of using extensive glass, please do get in contact with us, and we are very pleased to help you in your projects to use the right glass as the right solution. That's what I want to clarify about the questions.
Thank you. We've got a compliment which has come for architect Nitin sir on the subway design. There are a lot of compliments that have come for that. But since we did speak of mental well-being, we did speak of the future, we did speak of sustainability. There's one question which actually wants the views on all 3 points. If we can take this at least one last one, which is in this modern world where life is running fast and all the youngsters are facing mental illness and loneliness, how can we create sustainable environment in our housing design so that youngsters can get rid of some mental illness and stress?
Can I answer that?
Absolutely.
We would like everybody's views on that because there are a lot of questions on sustainability. So I think this covers, about 2 or 3 of it. Yes, please.
So this is a radical answer. Throw away your mobile phone, get out of internet, and you will be the happiest person. That's a better sustainable living.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Can I say something?
That is no living only then.
See, there is no direct answer to it. It has to speak through the design. It's like for a small child, if I create a Legoland, might find that child is going onto a white wall and sketching something. So it is something which needs to be analyzed for that particular situation and that particular age group where you can distract them from doing something. So it's analyzing individual student and individual student, maybe if it's an educational institute or it's being your household, you have to invent on that. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get the child out of it. I mean, throwing away mobile phone, it's not going to work for this generation. But that's what the task is. So for the designers, they have to do a lot of work on that when such kind of a complex thing comes, and you have to invent that solution. It's not easy, but that's a challenge what we have to take.
Can I respond?
Yeah.
So, basically as Indians, we are always that way sustainable. I mean, that mindset is always there to a sustainable living. It is only in last decade or so we have started using this word more often. So I look at it like this, that whatever suits your pocket, that is the first sustainability. Secondly, when I was a kid, my grandmother used to say, don't use bulb, use tube light. So what is that? So you economize on your electrical consumption, you get more light, so more lit surface in the process. We even used to, use our textbooks for our younger siblings and stuff like that. Okay. So basically, and you mentioned about Girgaon and all that, it is there in our, in our blood. So no one need to teach us actually that this product is sustainable, this product is not sustainable. First, you use your common sense, and again, as I said, you see your pocket, whether it fits into. Because today, again, I'm coming to the same question. The person who doesn't have anything to live, there's no shelter. What sort of sustainability we'll talk about? And that is a huge percentage of population. So to that extent, I think we have to be well balanced, and I think we take pride that we are a sustainable society in that sense.
Yeah. So when that person doesn't have a shelter, it's absolutely green because you're not constructing for it.
Yeah, so but that is a tragedy.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the green.
In fact, we did one exercise for a slum very close to my house, Nehru Nagar slums. They are still, eligible for silver rating as far as IGBC is concerned. Because there are so many attributes in that points.
Correct.
If you're closer to public transport, you get 5 points. And if you recycle certain materials, you get 10 points.
Correct.
And if you don't use AC, then another 20 points. So
their material is more recyclable than any other material.
Yes. Optimizes of space. So that's all I have to say.
Before we wrap it up, respected moderator, if I could take this one question, because it's talking about the country and the subcontinents, and since we have Shishe Jam, who's actually been kind enough to support this, this is to all the panelists. Will glass consumption increase across the world, and especially in a country like India? Will design be impacted with more use of glass? Can the panelists take this question, since glass buildings look beautiful from outside, but in countries in the subcontinent, they get dirty and dusty too? So we will just take this one last question.
Yeah. So we in actually glass buildings in Mumbai, like Esra, I don't know if you're aware, but there is so much dust out here that if you have a glass facade, you are, I think, for a large part of the year, your glass is never going to be clear, because once it is cleaned from outside, by the time the cleaner comes again to clean it, it's another maybe 2 or 3 months, and the glass becomes dirty in a matter of weeks. So you are actually seeing, for most of the time, a glass which is not very clean. So that is a serious issue in Mumbai. So I don't know whether glass cladded buildings, completely glass buildings, is a suitable option in our city. But glass as a material, using glass so that you have more connect with the outdoors, because right now, in Bombay, where apartments are so small, larger glass openings always make the space much more larger. So considering that, give you more light, and it also gives your space much larger dimension. So considering that, definitely. But I think as far as glass cladded buildings, we yet have to, develop that kind of technology where, the glass can be cleaned at much more regular intervals. Because most places out here, what happens is the glass, once it's made, the cleaning is outsourced to, or to separate people who are managed by the society of the building. And after some time, that interest level, unless it's like a well-managed place with well-informed people, that interest level of managing that kind of maintenance, it does not persist. And then after some time, you don't find, that the glass, the guys who maintain the building, they don't do it so often. So that is one serious issue which has to be taken into consideration as far as, in Mumbai, especially.
Actually, our R&D department is working on self-cleaning glass. So in a few years' time, I will share with you the details. But as a housewife also, I'm an architect, but on the other hand, I'm a housewife. I faced the problem of cleaning glass during the COVID period. So yeah, in a country with full of dust and little rain, it's a huge problem. But with the correct use of glass, we are solving many health problems. So as a housewife, I decided not to complain about the dust on the spots on the glass. And instead of cleaning it every day, I decided to clean it once a week, twice a week. Yes, it's a huge problem. Dust is a huge problem of our society. In Turkey, some of the architects are solving this problem with using catwalks in front of the facade, with also sometimes behind a balustrade, glass balustrade, they are using a catwalk. So it might be a solution, but on the other hand, still our R&D department is working on self-cleaning glass. So when we start to produce it, I will also share this new product with you.
Nice. Thank you. Gaurav?
Yeah, many questions. I request the viewers to follow the respected panelists and the official Instagram handles. Put the questions over there on DM. I'm sure the respected panelists, all the teams will get back to you. But having said that, would like to give a special thanks to the respected moderator and the esteemed respected panelists. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experiences. We are sure the support and guidance from you will continue in the times ahead, and we look forward to the same. A special thanks to our sponsor Shishajam Flat Glass for supporting this topic today. We are sure that the attendees found the webinar informative and that you use the opportunity to extend your existing networks. A sincere thanks from us to you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Nice
Bye.
meeting you.